This is James Hendricks with the Black Sheep Reports. Today I'm going to be talking about fracking and 7 reasons we need to ban fracking immediately. Number 1, fracking results in a huge amount of earthquakes. Oklahoma, home to hundreds of fracking sites, is now more earthquakes prone than California. Between 1990 and 2008, Oklahoma had only 3 earthquakes per year that registered at a 3.0 or more. Now, in 2013, Oklahoma had 109 earthquakes. That number has increased to 238 as of June of 2014. One quake caused by drilling destroyed 14 homes in Oklahoma City, injured 2 people, and buckled pavement. Additional quakes will undoubtedly cause more injuries and potential deaths and damage to the infrastructures, costing taxpayers millions. Now, the EPA acknowledged a very clear between fracking and earthquakes, saying that the quakes would stop as soon as the wells were turned off. Number 2, fracking results in extreme water contamination. Fracking wells, which inject water, sand, and chemicals deep in the ground to extract natural gas, create significant runoff into groundwater systems. 40,000 gallons of 600 different kinds of chemicals are used in each fracking well, including formaldehyde, mercury, uranium, to run in these fracking wells in the United States. It takes 360 billion gallons of those harmful chemicals, and only 30 to 50% of those chemicals are reclaimed, while the rest is just left in the ground. Pennsylvania mayor, in a major fracking state in Pennsylvania, has just admitted that fracking has contaminated local water supplies 243 times in 22 different counties. Number 3, fracking is responsible for record droughts. Each fracking project in the United States requires as much as 8 million gallons of water to complete. Taking the U.S. 500,000 fracking sites into account, with each site being fracked 18 times, that translates to a whopping 72 trillion gallons of water to maintain in every fracking well. That's over half of the water in Lake Erie. In the meantime, states with huge and growing populations like Texas and California are experiencing drought conditions, causing food prices to rise and more crops and livestock to die off. Towns along the Eagle Ford Shale in Texas are seeing 45 to 50% of total water usage come from fracking companies. California's water reserves are less than 50%, and water officials say that there's maybe 12 to 18 months of water left. Once those reserves run out, nobody is sure what will happen next, given how little rain California has seen in the recent years. Number 4, fracking leads to further exploitation of immigrant workers. Now, if you care about immigration, then you should care about fracking. Companies drilling new wells looking to skip on labor costs have been caught trucking in undocumented workers to do their hard labor. These workers are often paid poverty wages and put in unsafe environments, with deportation if they speak out about the insufferable pay and grueling work conditions. One example is a GPX of Safety, Texas, which was accused of trucking in undocumented workers to perform on surface in fracking wells in Pennsylvania. A local pipe building union fights for its 700 members to have good paying jobs, claim that immigrant workers are given to less tests on welding, and which can lead to faulty well constructions, now greatly increasing the chances of pipelines leaking into the water stream. Now, if GPX is found guilty of hiring undocumented immigrants, they face $10 million fines and 5 years of probation on each of the 20 counts. Number 5. Fracking displaces poor communities. Pennsylvania, home to thousands of fracking operations. As more companies come to drill new wells, they often displace entire communities of people who are then left homeless and broke, forced to uproot themselves for an out-of-state industry. One example is in Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania, where 32 families didn't even know they were going to be evicted from their trailer park until they read about it in a magazine. Aqua America, a water company which does fracking, bought the piece of land that housed the trailer park, and families were told they would be paid $2,500 if they moved out on April 1st in 2012, $1,500 if they moved out by May 1st, 2012, and paid nothing if they moved out after them dates. As Mother Jones reported, the cost of moving each family trailer park was $8,000 to $10,000 on average. Residents staged a blockade of the construction, and state troopers were eventually called to arrest anyone who refused to move. Construction has since begun where those 32 families used to live. Number 6. Fracking makes economic inequality even worse. By investing in some professions that are labor intensive, like education and construction, you can be assured that the money will create lots of jobs. But fracking is an industry that's capital intensive, meaning most of the investment goes towards the equipment and technology rather than the people. And when fracking wells become profitable, most of the profit goes to the owners of that equipment, not the workers who did the drilling. And jobs on drilling sites are only temporary, since wells can only be fracked up to 18 times. Fracking makes it impossible for people to make out like bandits, where the immigrants and other non-union employees who work on drilling sites get crumbs and are routinely exposed to lethal chemicals. While there were 135,000 more people working in the oil and gas industry in 2012 than there were in 2007, the numbers of jobs is compared to the jobs created through sustainable energy. The solar industry alone employs over 140,000 Americans and is outpacing national job growth in other sectors by a factor of 10. Jobs creations. The U.S. economy added 1 million new green jobs in 2013 for a total of 6.5 million green jobs in the U.S. today. If you were an energy source that created for job creation, look at like wind energy. Wind turbines alone created thousands of permanent jobs through their production, their transportation, their installation, and continued maintenance. More important, wind and solar power don't contaminate the water supply. Last but certainly not least, number 7, fracking depletes the value of your home. Exxon is one of the largest companies that engage in fracking. In an ironic twist, Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson became a fracking protester when well drilling was about to happen next to his home. Though his attorney Tillerson said he wasn't concerned about the environmental impact, but whether the impact to his property values. Tillerson is obviously wrong to not worry about the environmental costs of fracking, but he is 100% correct about what fracking does to a home. A study by the University of Denver found that fracking can reduce a home value by 25% on average, and 550 people surveyed most wouldn't buy a home near a fracking site. Researchers looking at 43 counties in New York and Pennsylvania also learned that a house within a 0.6 mile of a fracking site that depends on wells for its drinking water rather than a municipal source saw the value of their home plummet by 16.7%. This is James Hendricks with the Black Sheep Report. Subscribe if you're new. All the links are below. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Our page is Media on 9/11. Thank you.